This is to show you how to install the keypad repair kit in the Vtech 20-2420 telephone. This is a two-line phone with line 1 and line 2 and off button in the middle. This keypad repair will also work in the 2420. It's a single line phone without the off in the line 1 and line 2. But they're very similar phones in the way they look and come apart, and the keypad works in both of them. So to start off, to repair the keypad, you're going to need a repair kit, a Phillips screwdriver and a flat screwdriver, some rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. I like to use 90%, but 70% is okay if that's all you have. Some cleaning rags, maybe Q-tips. Then all you need to do is take the battery compartment, take the battery out. There's two screws down here. Take those out. Actually, I like to put everything in the battery doors to keep it all together. Now, to get the phone apart, there's some snaps on the side and also an antenna wire in here. You want to pull up the back and kind of jam your finger and thumb in there to pry it apart and hold some pressure. So I'm putting pressure on it, and there's some snaps here and up here, and I don't need to use a lot of prime pressure. When I've got this pressure here, the snaps will come off really easy. I just slide the screwdriver up to where it won't go anymore, and then you can kind of just a little bit of tweaking and that'll come out. The other side just popped out on its own, and put some more pressure like that. Oop. And I twisted it and it popped out. If it doesn't pop out for you at that point, basically you just do the same thing. And right up here there's a clip for the belt clip holder, and there's the snap right above that. So I would do the same thing. I would just put the screwdriver up there and pry it until it comes out. Now there's a wire going up into the antenna here, so the antenna, bottom housing and antenna just kind of slides up. You can see, just slide it out. And you don't have a lot of wiggle room because there's a speaker with a wire attached, so it doesn't go very much farther. Don't force it, you'll rip that wire off the speaker. You can see here, there's a short wire going to the speaker. Now, once you've gotten it open, there are 5 screws, 2, 3, 4, 5 little ones. 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, and 1 in the middle. Now, to get the phone out at this point, the board has to tilt out like this because there's a headset jack and the cover over here. And we'll just pull out straight very easily. So you kind of tilt it, open it like that, and then pull it this way, like that. And there's a little black plastic thing over the headset jack that often falls off. I might stay on there for you. Let me get a good look at this. Yeah, it's a little plastic thing. There's a straight edge that goes on the top. It doesn't really fit upside down. It's kind of crooked that way, so I would keep this aside if it falls off with the screws and put it on when we're putting the phone back together. So now we got the keypad exposed, and your buttons are undoubtedly failing. Let me focus this again, because there's a lot of oil and goo and dirt on here, and also building up on the circuit board. It's important we clean that out. You can take this rubber keypad out and you can run it under hot water and soap at this kitchen sink. Just make sure you dry it off really good. If it's not too terribly bad, or if you'd rather, you can just wet a rag with isopropyl rubbing alcohol and you can clean it off that way. You could also use Q-tips in the little crevices. This one has already been cleaned, so it doesn't need it. it goes back in. Make sure when you put the rubber keypad back in that none of these buttons are stuck halfway like that or anything. And sitting down, and any odd little pieces of dirt or whatever we want to get out of there. Now it's also very important to clean the circuit board, and you can just wet a rag with rubbing alcohol and clean all the oil and dirt off of those buttons. You really can't hurt anything electronic with the isopropyl alcohol except for the microphone, and you'd really have to just dump alcohol onto the microphone. As long as you're wetting a rag or Q-tips, then it should be fine. So once we've got that all cleaned off, we have the repair kit, and what this does is you peel and you stick it down to the circuit board, and then the conductive black dots are no longer used to complete the circuit. Instead, the conductive black dots push down on this, which completes the circuit. And this, the black material never wears out like the rubber material does, and it also blocks oils from getting in there again. The oil got between the rubber keypad and the circuit board, but the oil can't get between this keypad and the circuit board, so you won't have problems ever again. You can see it lines up. There's holes cut for the LEDs, and then there's a single hole right up here to use for lining it up. And you just got to peel off the brown sticker layer. I like to grab one corner and just slowly peel it off. Okay, so I use the 6 holes for the LEDs and that little hole up at the top to line it up. So I'm lining up the little hole. And that's it. You don't need to put a lot of pressure. I just kind of lightly drag it around. It'll stay there. At this point, you might want to clean the LCD off. You'll probably have fingerprints or dust. And you might have some dust in there you need to clean off. If you have air, compressed air cans, you can clean that off. But once we get everything done, it's time to put the phone back together. Now I'm going to put this headset jack plastic thing back on. And now we need to tuck the circuit board. There's a little rubber black part of the headset jack cover, and the circuit board has to go under that. It's flexible, and then that goes right in there. It goes pretty easily. Just go back the same way you took it out. Headset jack side first, and all the rubber keypads are sticking through. That's good. So now we have the 5 tiny screws. I'm just going to start in the middle. Doesn't really matter. While we're doing this, one thing you might want to look out for is I've seen a lot of these. This is a crystal, and it kind of flexes. It originally has a glue stick holding it down, like a sticky pad, but it's come off, and now it can move and vibrate, and one of those wires can easily break off, and if it is, the phone will be dead. But it's pretty easy to fix with some soldering. If you have a soldering iron, any experience with that, you can just dab a dot of solder and stick the broken wire back on. So there are 2 holes here, but those are for the larger screws when you put the back housing on. There's 2 in the top, 2 in the very bottom, and 1 in the middle. And to get the antenna back on, the back casing, basically just gently push up and put the antenna into the antenna housing. Slide it all the way up as far as you can, and then the whole thing should just snap together. Yep. Okay, and the 2 more screws. and then you're done. You put the battery back in and test all the buttons, and they'll work great, and you'll never have problems again.